Good morning. In today's lesson, we learn about past tenses. Here we have some examples. What happened? How did you burn your ears? Well, I was ironing when the phone rang and I answered the iron by mistake. But I thought you had burned both your ears. Well, yes. I had been ironing for only 2 minutes when it rang again. Well, the first tense we learn is past simple. The past simple is the most common one, and it is the one we use for most of the things we tell about the past. One of the uses is for past actions which happened immediately one after another. The example says, she sealed the letter, put a stamp on it, and posted it. We have 3 actions which happened one after the other. The other use is for actions or event which happened at a stated time in the past. She called an hour ago. When did she call? An hour ago. The next use is for actions which happened at a definite time in the past. The action was completed in the past. If we say, Shakespeare wrote a lot of plays. Shakespeare is now dead, so he won't write any more plays. And we also use the past simple to talk about past habits or states. And in this case we have he used to go to school, or he went to school on foot. The past forms, or in the past form, we have 2 types of verbs, regular and irregular ones. Regular verbs have some spelling rules to follow. There are 4 options. The first one is when we add D for regular verbs that end in E, such as live, like. We have live, lived, like, liked. We add ed to regular verbs such as work. We say worked, play, played. We add ied to regular verbs that end in final y, preceded by a consonant. This is the case of study. And we have, in some cases, we double the last consonant and then we add ed. This is the case of stop. Stop, and then in the past, stopped. There is a pronunciation rule as well. Final ed, the spelling ed, is not always pronounced it. It is pronounced it only after the sounds t and d. And this is the case of land, and the past form of land is landed. We pronounce final T after these sounds. For example, in the case of look, we have a final K, and we say looked. Finish, finished. We pronounce D after other sounds. For example, M, N, L, vowels. In the case of smile, the past is smiled. Well, let's work in some exercises. Here we have, the first one is as regards spelling. So we write the past form of the verbs we have here. And then we have the pronunciation practice. How do we pronounce these verbs in the past form? Let's pause the video, do the exercise, and then check. Well, these are the answers to exercise 1 and exercise 2. Please check your answers and see if you did them right. Well, as regards the negative form of the past simple, here we use did not or didn't. You have some examples. I didn't go out last night. She didn't cook yesterday. They didn't stay home. And for questions, we use did, and we have examples. Did you go out last night? No, I didn't. Or yes, I did. Did your parents come to see you? Yes, they did. No, they didn't. WH questions start with the WH word. What did you do last weekend? Where did you go? When did they come to see you? Usually what we have in question is the WH word, did, and then the person and the verb. But there is one exception, and this is the case of questions when we ask about the subject. When we ask about who or what causes or did something. And in this case, we omit the auxiliary and we put the verb in the past. Who took my car? Tom did. What happened? An accident. If you see these questions, you have who, WH word, and the verb already in past form. Who took my car? What happened? And in case you want to answer these questions, you can say Tom or Tom did. What happened? An accident. Let's practice making questions. Here you have some questions, sentences to write questions about the bold information or the information in bold type. So pause the video, answer the questions, write the questions, and then check. Well, here you have the answers. When did they rob the National Bank? When did the robbery happen? How much money did they take? Who called the police? And who are the police looking for? Well, the next form of past tense is the past continuous. The past continuous is used for two or more simultaneous past actions. While I was sunbathing, Tim was swimming. Here we have two actions, two simultaneous actions. Then we have another uses for actions in progress at a stated time in the past. He was playing tennis at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. This action was in progress at 4 o'clock, at 4:30 p.m. The next use is for an action in progress interrupted by another action. The longer action is in the past continuous and the shorter action is in the past simple. While I was getting dressed, the bell rang. I was getting dressed and this action was interrupted by the bell. And then we have for the use of past continuous for background description in a story, for example. She was flying to Paris, the sun was shining, the birds were singing. Well, let's see if you can complete this practice with past simple or past continuous. Pause the video, write your answers, and then we continue. Well, here you have the answers to exercise 6. Check if you get them right, and we continue to the next one. Another form of past is past perfect. Past perfect is used for past actions which occurred before another action in the past. And this is like the past of the past. And if we say, he had left by the time I got there. I got there at 8:15, but he left before that. This is the reason why we say that it is the past of the past. Complete action Complete past action which had visible results in the past. She was sad because she had failed the test. And then we have the past perfect is the past equivalent of the present perfect. If we say he can't find his watch, he has lost it. And if we want to say the same in the past, we would say he couldn't find his watch, he had lost it. Well, let's see something about the form. The form of the past perfect is had plus the past perfect of the verb. Let's do some practice. Put the verbs in brackets into past simple or past perfect. State which action happened first. When I left the house, I realized that I had forgotten to take my keys with me. Here we have actions in the past: left, realized, and had forgotten. Which was the first action that occurred? Had forgotten. So let's do the same with the other. Complete the sentences using past simple or past perfect and then state which was the first action. And these are the answers. After I had finished digging the garden, I decided to go for a walk. Which was the first action? Digging the garden. Finish digging the garden. I lent Alicia some money only after she had promised to get it back the next day. The first action had promised. Kate had studied for her math test before she went out with her friends. Which is the first action? Had studied. And then the last one, I bought Becky a plant yesterday because she had sung so well in the concert the night before. The first action is had sung. Well, and the past perfect continuous is similar to past perfect, but in this case it is used when we put emphasis on the duration of an action which started and finished in the past before another action or a stated time in the past. She had been working as a clerk for 10 years before she resigned. Then we have for past actions of certain duration which had visible results in the past. They were wet because they had been walking in the rain. The past perfect is the equivalent of present perfect continuous. She's going to the doctor. Her leg has been aching for 2 days. If we want to say the same in the past, we would say she went to the doctor. Her leg had been aching for 2 days. As regards the form of past perfect continuous, we have had, been, past participle of the verb to be, and then the verb with ing. Well, let's do some practice. Here we have some situations to complete with the past perfect continuous. Pause the video, solve the exercises, and then we check. Well, here you have the answers. Well, as regards time expressions in the past forms, we have the most common ones here for past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Have a look at them. Well, let's do some practice. Here we have past perfect or past perfect continuous. Read the sentences, the dialogues, and complete them using both.